Hi, I'm Wyatt. I'm about to be 22 years old, and this is the second election that I've voted in. And I want to say some things about the political system. I'm going to be reading mostly off something that I've typed up on my laptop, so that you don't have to listen to me ramble and say and pause a lot. So you'll be able to tell anytime that I go off of what I've got written here because, well, yeah. So I want to talk first of all about my own party. I'm a social and fiscal conservative. I'm not really sure that I want to use the term Republican because to me there is such a disconnect between the Republican Party and the Republican voters. So, like I said, I'm going to call myself a conservative. Do with that what you will. So I walked into the booth yesterday to vote my state primary. And when I was about to vote, I sort of froze. I realized that with all the thought that I'd put into it over the last few months, I was still just incredibly torn on who I was going to vote for. And since I turned 18, I've never had the opportunity to vote for someone I truly believed in. It's been more like I was voting against the other guy, and that's an awful way to vote, but it's been my only choice. So in that booth yesterday, all I knew was that I was not going to vote for Trump. When he first came onto the scene, I liked a few of his ideas, a few of his positions. I especially liked the fact that his campaign was going to be self-funded. I like that because that doesn't put you under the control of big campaign donors. And I liked that because I felt like that would give him the opportunity to do what he felt was right without having to help whoever paid for his campaign. But for one reason or another, I never fully trusted him, and with every passing day, that mistrust grows. I'm not going to say who I voted for because that's my business, and frankly, nobody else's. But I will say this: I somewhat considered casting a write-in vote for Trey Gowdy. He's one of the few conservative men and women left in Washington that's willing to truly fight for his beliefs. He doesn't back down, which I love. But I knew that a write-in vote's a wasted vote. And I just, like I said, I really don't trust Trump, so I voted against Trump. I voted for who I thought could beat him. Like I said, I won't tell you who that is, but you can probably figure out who it was. So I left the polling place, hopped in my Jeep, put the top down, blasted Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. And it was a beautiful day, so I just tried to drive off and enjoy the weather and feel proud that I had voted. I tried to feel like I had done something. Had my vote count sticker right here. But how much does my vote really matter? If I didn't truly believe in the man that I voted for, how much does my vote truly matter? It seems hollow to me to vote for somebody just because you don't want the other guy to get in. But I digress, I suppose. Let me scroll down. My second thought is in regards to the Democratic Party, and I'm going to say something that may seem a little odd for a conservative, but I'm going to defend Bernie Sanders for a minute. I'm the furthest thing from a Sanders fan. I disagree with him on nearly every socioeconomic policy that he has. But I respect him for having the opinions that he does and for saying them openly, because he has some very controversial ideas that a lot of people from my party and even from his own aren't really sure about. But I think a lot of candidates have had those opinions. They've just kept them quiet because they knew it might scare some people off. But he's been honest with us, and I I truly respect him for that. Like I said, I disagree with him, but I have a profound respect for him. I'm not actually 100% sure there's another person running right now that I trust as much to do what he says as him. But let me make one thing just very unmistakably clear. When you have a race that's as tight as the Democratic race is right now, Hillary Clinton should not have the kind of lead she has over Sanders in regards to delegates. She just shouldn't, because the popular vote is close, and the last time that I checked, Bernie Sanders actually had more of the popular vote, but she has more delegates. And that problem resides in so-called superdelegates. And they choose who they vote for regardless of the popular vote. And they do so, they do so by their own admission to suppress grassroots candidates, such as Bernie Sanders. And that just thoroughly undermines the notion that this government is by the people and for the people. Democrats want Bernie, but the powers that be within the Democratic Party seem hell-bent on ignoring what the people want in order to empower the establishment candidate. And like I said, that's wrong. It's not how our political system is supposed to work. That's not how our political system was designed, and it's wrong. In my opinion, it's wrong that the Republican Party uses superdelegates, but it's only about 3 per state, whereas the Democratic Party uses 15% of their delegates are superdelegates, and that's problematic in my opinion. But anyway, with my opinion that they seem hell-bent to ignore what the people want, that really brings me to my third thought, which is a little bit of a two-part thought. And I'll start with this. First, when did both parties become so disconnected from the people? When did our voice get so muffled? And when did what we say cease to matter in the eyes of the powerful people who head our respective parties? I fear that it's not merely this election when it began. I fear that it's been building slowly for decades, and it's just now reaching its peak. It's just now becoming noticeable. And that scares me at how long this has been going on that we haven't noticed. The second part of my thought about the parties is the two-party political system is destroying the nation in which we live. It just is. At its very best, it's divisive, and it tears us apart from one another, and it makes us enemies. And I want to make one thing just very, very clear. We are not enemies. Like I said, I'm a conservative. If you are a liberal, you are not my enemy, and I'm not yours. We are in this together. Our opinions may differ, but we are in this together, and I hate feeling like that each party hates the other, because I don't hate you. Like I said, I disagree with you, but I don't hate you. I respect your opinion, and it bothers me that we've been made to believe that we're enemies. I want you to think, do you think the wedge that's been driven between us is there by accident? No, it's not. It's a dirty game of divide and conquer, and it's time that we, the people, from both parties, stand up and stand together to tell them enough is enough. And no matter what your political affiliation is, this country is ours. It rightfully belongs to us. And it's time we tell the powers that be within our respective parties that we want it back. I want to thank you all for listening to me. I said I hope I didn't ramble too awful long. Coming up just under 10 minutes long here, so I'll end this pretty quick. Like I said, I want to thank you for listening. I hope I can do this more often, and I hope this gets seen. If you see it, leave a thought in the comments, like, subscribe, and tell me what you'd like to hear me cover from now on, because I'm new to this. I have no idea. But anyway, I thank you all, and I hope you have a nice day. And do not forget to vote in your primary and in the general election. Doesn't matter how you vote, but people in other countries have fought and died for the right to do something that some of us don't even think is important enough to get out of the house to do. People from our nation have fought and died to defend that right. You may not think it's important, but it was important enough for people all around the nation to shed all around the world, to shed their blood to try to gain or preserve this right. It is important. It's one of the most important things we can do. So, vote. And thank you, and everybody have a nice day. Bye.